the January 26th, 2021 council meeting is called back into session. Councilman Smiley, you're recognized.
Mute.
You told me to leave it on. I move to adjourn the January 26th meeting.
No. Leave it on, good sir. All right. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. Moved by Smiley, seconded by Councilman Warren. Do we have any unfinished business on the January 26th agenda? Seeing none, the January 26th council meeting is hereby adjourned without objection. Sergeant at Arms, please call the February 2nd, 2021 council meeting to order.
Oh, yes. This Honorable Council of the City of Memphis is hereby called to order for the transaction of business pursuant to adjournment.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize our chaplain of the day, Pastor Damon Conley of Brown Missionary Baptist Church, invited by Councilman Carlisle. Pastor Conley will lead us into prayer. Pastor Conley, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman, and to this distinguished group, council women and men. Thank you for the opportunity. I am praying for you with the task that you have at hand, the difficult task during this time to bring this city together. Praying that you trust in the Lord with all your heart, not leaning on your own understanding, that in everything that you would acknowledge the Lord so that God can direct your path. God, we thank you for this time. We thank you for these representatives who are leading our city. We pray that you will protect them, and that you will cover them and their families. We thank you for their sacrifice they make on a daily basis, sacrifice to serve the families of this city. God, I pray that as you continue to lead them, they would lean to your understanding, that they would lean into you, knowing that all wisdom comes from above, and that they would be humble as they lead your people. We pray for the business that is at hand at this time. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Oh, Councilman Carlisle, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. Pastor Conley, thank you so much for offering up that prayer and your words of encouragement. I've gotten the chance to know Damon and his wife, Erica, which I think some of my colleagues may know, and their three wonderful children. We're so fortunate. My son, Miles, is in school with Dylan, and they get into good trouble together. And this year, it's been difficult on all of them. And of course, as we continue to build relationships with the Conley family. And I just want to say thank you again just for being here and for the work that you do, that you've done at Harvest and done at Brown Missionary with Pastor Orr. It's people like you that help guide our community to a better place. And so we are eternally grateful for that service. I have a certificate to read as well. Be it hereby known that Pastor Damon Conley, in recognition of a life of exemplary qualities, outstanding service to the city, meritorious involvement in humanitarian affairs, and demonstrated concern for governmental processes, has been appointed chaplain of the day of the Memphis City Council and is hereby entitled to all the honors, rights, privileges, and prerogatives appertaining to the office and to the display of this certificate. Given under seal this second day of February 2021, signed by the chairman, Frank Colvett, and presented by myself. Thank you, Pastor Conley.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to serve.
Thank you. Moved, properly seconded without objection. Pastor, thank you so much for leading us out today. Councilman Jones, you're recognized. Please unmute and recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman. Madam Comptroller, please call the roll.
Councilmember Canali.
Here.
Carlisle.
Here.
Easter Thomas.
Present.
Ford.
Present.
Johnson, Jones,
Here.
Logan, Morgan,
Here.
Robinson,
Present.
Smiley,
Present.
Vice Chairwoman Swearingen, Warren,
Present.
Chairman Corbett.
Present.
Chairman Corbett, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Councilman Smiley, have you read the meeting minutes for January 26th?
I've read the minutes and found them in order. I move their adoption.
Thank you very much. Can I get a second?
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Smiley, seconded by Councilman Warren. Seeing no members of the queue, soon be ready to vote. Madam Comptroller, please conduct a roll call.
Councilmember Canali,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Yes.
Easter Thomas,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
Aye.
Smiley,
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Chairwoman Swearingen, Warren,
Aye.
Chairman Corbett.
Aye. Meeting minutes, January 26, 2021 are approved. Welcome, everybody, to the February 2nd, 2021 regular meeting of the Memphis City Council, which is being conducted electronically pursuant to the notice due to the COVID-19 emergency. Without objection, the notice of the meeting will be included in the minutes of this meeting. A notice of the meeting was placed on the City Council webpage regarding how the public may electronically access the meeting and/or a recording of the meeting, and how to provide written comments concerning any agenda item or any other matter prior to this meeting. Public comments were to be submitted to the Memphis City Council 24 hours prior to today's meeting. Councilman Smiley will read those comments at the appropriate time. He will only read those comments that included the requisite information, which was the person's name and address. Incomplete comments or those received late will be sent to council records and placed in the file. Items 15, 16, 17, and 18 will be held until our next meeting, February 16th. Our add-ons today are items 25, 26, and 27. Before I begin, I'd like to ask Council Lady Easter Thomas to take a moment to as we begin the celebration of Black History Month. Councilman Easter Thomas, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Hello, colleagues and citizens of Memphis. This is to recognize Miriam DeCosta Willis. Miriam DeCosta Willis was a Memphis civil rights activist and writer. After being denied entrance to Memphis State in 1957, DeCosta Willis became the university's first Black professor in 1966 and was honored with a marker outside of her former office a month before her death on January 7th, 2021. She also taught at LeMoyne College, Howard University, George Mason University, and the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. A true historian, she donated a collection to the Memphis Public Library and Information Center, including her works, Notable Black Memphians and Black Memphis Landmarks. As we begin this month of recognition for the contributions of Black people, I think it fitting to recognize a historian of such contributions and a woman always willing to educate herself and others. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Council Lady. February is Black History Month, and let us always remember those who have gone before us and never forget their leadership and their work. Madam Comptroller, Mr. Jackson had technical issues last week, so why don't we start with item 14?
Item number 14 is an appointment to the Memphis Convention Center Commission, a reappointment, Lee A. Jackson.
Thank you very much. Councilman Carlisle, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. As colleagues, as the Chair had just noted, Mr. Jackson was with us in committee last week, but was having some technical issues. And I think it's important that we always give those that are willing to give their time and energy and opportunity to say a few words to the body on their appointment or reappointment. And again, want to thank Councilman Jones last time for helping us step in during the technical difficulties. And with that, Mr. Chairman, the committee met and recommends approval, and I so move.
Thank you, Mr. Councilman Carlisle. Is there a second?
I'll second Morgan.
Seconded by Morgan. Been moved by Carlisle, seconded by Morgan. I see no members in the chat. Nobody seeking recognition. Assume you're ready to vote, Madam Comptroller.
Chair, point of order, sir. If we wouldn't mind, Mr. Jackson is on the line. I think he wanted the opportunity to say a few words.
Oh, fantastic. Mr. Jackson, are you with us?
I'm on the line. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Please share.
Yes, sir. Last month, January 2021, marked my 20th year serving on the Board of Commissioners of the Convention Center. Excuse me. I served 7 years as chairman. I served as chairman of the Feasibility Study Committee for the renovation that's just about to be completed. And I'm currently serving as the Finance Committee Chairman. So I appreciate this opportunity to continue to serve. And I'd like to thank my fellow Commissioner Martavius Jones for those kind words last week. So those are my comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. For the record, can I go ahead and get your name and address, officially get your address, please?
5263 Chatfield, Memphis, Tennessee, 38116.
Outstanding. And sir, thank you so much for your service. Seeing no other members seeking recognition, I assume you're ready to vote. This is item 14, moved by Carlisle, seconded by Morgan. Madam Comptroller, please call the roll.
Councilmember Canali,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Aye.
Easter Thomas,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
No,
Yes.
Okay.
Miley,
Aye.
Vice Chairwoman Swearingen, Warren,
Aye.
Chairman Colbert.
Aye, that item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item 1.
Item number 1 is a resolution approving a planned development located at 3681 Hawkins Mill Road containing plus or minus 12.95 acres located in the residential single-family district. This resolution is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development. The case number is PD 20-17.
Thank you very much. Councilman Canali.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item was actually not heard in committee, and this item actually needs to be held for 2 weeks. I'll call on Administrator Whitehead to explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the council. Josh Whitehead with the Division of Planning and Development. It occurred to me moments ago that the fact that the city council met 2 weeks in a row has created an unfortunate phenomenon, and that is items that we placed on last Tuesday's agenda for a public hearing today must be held for 2 weeks because we need to provide at least 10 days mailed notice. Now, the good news about that is we only have one public hearing that involved mailed notice, and that is agenda item number 1. It's unfortunate. We have our applicant with us. We have no opposition, but I would hate for the legitimacy of any vote that this body takes today be taken into question in the future. So I would recommend a 2-week hold.
Outstanding. To our applicant, I apologize. These things happen, but I'm glad we caught it now. Is there any objection to a 2-week hold?
I have a question.
Mr.
For
Carlisle,
Josh.
you're recognized.
Administrator Whitehead, since we are technically recessing meetings and then reconvening them, could we hear it, have a vote on it, and then adjourn the meeting in 2 weeks and meet that deadline?
Well, the agenda item before you is a public hearing. So if we had a public hearing and then had people on the other side speak 2 weeks later, if this went to court, the court would say, well, which one was the public hearing?
Yeah,
Was
fair
it
enough.
The first one or the second one?
Always appreciate you. Just not trying to be too clever, was just curious.
All right. That being said, no objection to a 2-week hold. See that in 2 weeks. Madam Comptroller, let's call item 2.
Number 2 is an ordinance amending the Memphis and Shelby County Unified Development Code as adopted by the City of Memphis, August 10th, 2010, and by Shelby County, August 9th, 2010, as amended to revise and enhance the joint zoning and subdivision regulations as recommended by the Memphis and Shelby County Office of Planning and Development and Land Use Control Board. This text amendment affects all property within the City of Memphis and unincorporated Shelby County. Up for third and final reading, this ordinance is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development. The case number is ZTA 20-01, ordinance number 5772.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Councilman Canale?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item also was not heard in committee today, but our applicant is Administrator Whitehead, and he is on the line to give his presentation. With that, Mr. Chairman, I move it to the floor.
Been moved. Give me a second.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Carlisle. Administrator Whitehead, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, Josh Whitehead with the Division of Planning and Development. The PDF that your staff created, combining a lot of our materials this afternoon, placed the ordinance, which does not explain these amendments, before the staff report, which does. So you might have to scroll through the ordinance to get to the staff report. And the basis of my presentation this afternoon will be page 1 of that staff report, which contains an executive summary. These are just 6 items. The other items could be classified as housekeeping in nature. So the first of those 6 items listed on the executive summary is nomenclature change. This involves the change from the name OPD to DPD. Why is that? Because it confuses everyone, including me. And also because OPD is now, has always been a department of DPD. The administrator of that department will be called the zoning administrator and not a planning director. Why is that? Because the D word is a term of art both in city government and county government, indicating a member of the mayor's cabinet, right? A division head. The next item deals with the section of the Unified Development Code, which lists off the plans to be considered by the Land Use Control Board, the City Council, the County Commission, etc. We have a laundry list of about 2 to 3 dozen, mostly small area plans or neighborhood plans. What this proposal would do is add Memphis 3.0, since the last time we considered a zoning text amendment, the Memphis 3.0 plan has been adopted. Number 3 of 6 deals with a topic near and dear to many members, that is gas stations. This is the next step to a series of steps that this body has taken to make the location of gas stations more restrictive. We mentioned that Councilman Collins, and as the chairman of Planning and Zoning, several years ago, he and I authored the last substantial change, which would require gas stations to be located at major intersections. This is the next big step, which would require them to be in the most intense commercial zoning district. In other words, if you're in our less intense, our neighborhood-oriented commercial district, you'll need individual review and approval by the Memphis City Council to obtain that. The next item deals with tire establishments, tire sales establishments. This, along with the last item, continues the theme of making a difference between our most intense commercial district, CMU 3, and our least intensive commercial district, CMU 1, and with this, CMU 2. The CMU 1 zoning district, as well as the CMU 2, are more intertwined and embedded within neighborhoods, right? They're supposed to be your restaurants, your small retail establishments, your smaller grocery stores. CMU 3, if you think about it, is Germantown Parkway, et cetera. What we're doing with this proposal is making a difference, a distinction between used tire sales and new tire sales. The latter continuing to be permitted in many of our zoning districts, but the former, given the outside display, given the general aesthetics, given the fact that they're more repair shop-like than not, the used tire sales establishments would be only permitted by right in that more intense or most intense commercial district. Item number 5 of 6 deals with some procedure. You are about to see a proposal on Firestone. It's a planned development that involves homes near the intersection of Firestone and Marble. What this amendment would do is prevent the need for that applicant to go to both this body and the Board of Adjustment. What we're saying here is if you have a use that requires a conditional use permit, you can tackle that through a plan development or a variance application if you need a variance. And finally, this is probably the most discussed of our and most significant of all of our amendments this year. The waiting period between the time an applicant gets rejected and the time the applicant can come back. Currently, that time period is 18 months. And that time period is only triggered if one receives a rejection by the City Council. What this proposal would do is expand the period from 18 months to 5 years. And that time period would not be triggered by final vote by City Council, but by a vote by Land Use Control Board. As many of you are aware, oftentimes we'll have a very controversial case. It'll go to Land Use Control Board. They won't proceed up to City Council, and then they'll come back a month or two later. This will say, that's fine, you're not dead in the water forever, but you do have to wait 5 years before you refile. Mr. Chairman, this zoning text amendment is an annual amendment to what is a joint code between the City of Memphis City Council and the County Commission. We typically do these every 12 months. This has been perhaps an 18-month period between the last time we did this and today. We did provide a 100-day public review period. We first went live with these amendments on September 1, and that was a 100-day between September 1 and December 10th when the Land Use Control Board heard it. During that 100-day review period, we made some major modifications to this ordinance by basically eliminating most, if not all, matters of controversy. So it comes to you, and I believe across the street tomorrow at the County Commission without any opposition. With that, Mr. Chairman, I am available for any questions.
Thank you very much. Councilman Warren, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Could you comment on the reason for 5 years as opposed to 2.5 or 3 or 4 or whatever? What was the thought process?
That is a great question, Councilman. The 5-year period is currently the period in which, if you get approved for a plan development, you have to obtain a plan approval, or you have to start building basically within that 5-year time period, or your plan development expires. So I just basically piggyback from that language and applied it here, number one. Number two, the last time this really came up, in addition to the Hernando and Norris gas station, there was a gravel pit up on Rosemark Road in unincorporated Shelby County. And between those two cases, they came back 2 years on one, 3 years on the other. And we just figured 2 or 3 years was not enough. The neighborhoods, South Memphis and Rosemark, respectively, had not yet, it was the collective feeling among many council members and commissioners that the neighborhood had not yet had a time to relax, calm down before re-engaging in battle mode. So between those two reasons, that's how we came up with the 5 years.
Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you, Councilman Warren. Councilor Logan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Ms. Whitehead, would you share the information that you shared about when at some point they don't have to come to council, they can go to the Board of Adjustments, or you just mentioned something and I missed it, I think.
Well, there was, Councilwoman, when I first made this proposal back in September, one of my proposed amendments would have addressed a potential situation that has never come up, and that deals with processing a variance as an item that the code says should be processed as a special exception. The former goes to the Board of Adjustment, the latter goes to the Land Use Control Board and can be appealed to City Council. Based upon a lot of feedback, primarily from the Neighborhood Preservation Inc. and allies of that organization, I removed that matter from consideration. So now we're left with items, I think this is the slide. I mentioned the case on Firestone. Basically, if you have a project that needs a variance and it needs a conditional use permit, conditional use permits go to the Board of Adjustment, variances go to the Board of Adjustment. You can combine that application either as a variance and continue to go to the Board of Adjustment, or as that case on Firestone did, combine the variance request with the conditional use permit request and turn it into a plan development, since plan developments can grant variances. But on that matter specifically that is before you, we've received no pushback.
So if they combine the two, they can go to Board of Adjustment and not the council, is that what you're saying? Not Land Use Control Board and the council?
Almost. What I'm saying is I'm not going to ask you to submit 2 applications to the Board of Adjustment. I'm going to ask you to just submit 1 and just give me the variance application. Or as an alternative, because the City Council also has variance authority, right, through the plan development. So just as always, I would also not, just as I would not make someone file 2 applications to the Board of Adjustment, I'm not going to make someone file an application to the Board of Adjustment and the City Council. So they can combine either of those 2. So, but what this does not do, which my earlier proposal would have done, is take something that would have gone to the Land Use Control Board and instead moved it to Board of Adjustment. That we will not be doing. If that makes sense.
So you said that you're not taking something that would be at the Board of Adjustment, be with the Land Use Control Board and City Council and moving it to Board of Adjustments only.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make certain that we're not doing anything that's going to alleviate the opportunity for council, who generally deal directly with constituents and the community and the neighborhoods. I don't want anything to alleviate the process by which we are the last panel they come before. If there's, opposition or discrepancies, or if they feel like they want to appeal. So I'm just wanting to make sure, I know the language is, a bit different but that's why I wanted to, I'm asking for clarification. And I think that's what I hear you saying.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. I yield back, Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Logan. Councilman Warren, you're recognized. Councilman Warren withdrew. I see no other members in the queue. I see we're ready to vote on item number 2, moved by Canali, seconded by Carlisle. Madam Comptroller, call the roll.
Councilmember Canali,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Aye.
Easter Thomas,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
Aye.
Smiley, Vice Chairman Swearingen, Warren,
Aye.
Chairman Colbert.
Aye, that item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item 3.
Did you say item is 15?
3, please.
3, thank you. Item number 3 is an ordinance rezoning certain parcels adjacent to Summer between Holmes and Sevier and Novareese and Stratford in the commercial mixed-use 3 district up for third and final reading. This ordinance is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development. The case number is Z20-10, ordinance number 5773.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Councilman Canali.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this item was not heard in committee today, so we did not give it a recommendation. However, Administrator Whitehead is here to give a presentation on this item. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I move it to the floor.
Thank you.
Second.
Moved by Canali, seconded by Warren. Josh, you have the floor again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Josh Whitehead again. This is a comprehensive rezoning of 2 areas along Summer. What does the word comprehensive mean? It's a term that the code, the zoning ordinance, uses for rezonings that are initiated by the government, in this case, City Council, versus a rezoning initiated by a property owner, right? It's the latter that this body sees most of. Just a little history on this ordinance. It was initiated really back in August of last year with a moratorium, a demo permit moratorium for churches along Summer Avenue. If you recall, the Highland Heights United Methodist Church there at Summer and Highland was proposed to be demolished. And this moratorium removed that from a possibility. That was followed by a resolution. We, the Division of Planning and Development, reported back to City Council on ways to remove the market pressure on that church and other churches along Summer to be redeveloped in perhaps inappropriate ways. And that rezoning resolution is what was sent down to the Land Use Control Board and comes back up to you as an ordinance. Why do we do such a long process? State law requires that any amendment to the zoning code, whether it be a text amendment like the matter we just heard, or a map amendment such as this item, has to first go to a city's planning commission. For whatever reason, we don't like the term planning commission. We renamed ours the Land Use Control Board, so that's why it had to go back to Land Use Control Board to come to you as an ordinance. Here's some images. Here are those 4 churches that we looked at: New Tyler AME, Highland Heights Methodist, Berkeley Church of Christ, and Berkeley Baptist. If you can see on the stars, 2 are almost on top of each other. There's 2 major sections of Summer Avenue that we're looking at. One is in downtown, quote unquote, Highland Heights, and the other is in East Berkeley. And here are some images of those. They range in architectural style from Gothic to Jetsons. So here are our 2 map amendments. Again, we're going to look at these in areas. Area 1, the westernmost, and Area 2, the easternmost. And the proposal that's before you, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, involves two downzonings in area 1. If you're familiar with this section of Summer, I call it downtown Highland Heights because Highland Heights kind of developed back in the day as its own community with its own, streetcar suburban feel. And that streetcar suburban built environment goes from National east to Highland. If you can think about where Fortner's Furniture used to be, June Lee, and a few other buildings built right up to the sidewalk, right? Because most of their customers were getting on and off from the streetcar. So that middle section, we're requesting or recommending to downzone from our most intense zoning district, CMU3, to a very extremely neighborhood-oriented zoning district, MU, mixed use. That only removes from the option of uses, many of our intense uses like auto repair and gas stations, but it requires all new buildings to be built up on the sidewalk, kind of like all the buildings that are there now. That downtown area is flanked by two extreme areas going out to Holmes and Sevier on either side, where we're not recommending a rezoning to a district that requires that kind of intense urban built environment, but just to the CMU1 zoning district. I have a table that outlines the differences between all of these zoning districts in a moment. Okay, area 2, going out east where Berkeley, Church of Christ and Berkeley Baptist are. They're currently zoned CMU3, and this recommendation takes it to CMU1. So a much simpler view here, and that goes from Novareese to Stratford. If you're familiar, there's a shopping center, a pretty large shopping center just to the west there, and going east all the way to Stratford, which goes up to, turns into Covington Pike as you approach northeast Memphis. Here's the table I referenced earlier, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. In red, you have that high intensity CMU3. It allows gas stations, tire shops, auto repair, auto service, self-storage, restaurants, bars, and retail. The CMU1, that's the middle, the pink column, we take out a lot of those more intense vehicular uses and we only have auto service, restaurants, and general retail. And then again, that MU district, if you remember the area around Summer and National, we take out auto service and we have just general retail and restaurants. There's some height differences, 75 feet in the current district, and we have 48 and 45 feet with the proposed districts. And I believe that's a good summary, Mr. Chairman. This, as I mentioned, did go to the Land Use Control Board, received a recommendation of approval. Ashley Cash, the administrator of our comprehensive planning department, is on hand. Her staff worked hand in glove with this. And with that, I am available for any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Whitehead. Council Lady Johnson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair, so much. My question is, will this in any way affect any future growth that the churches might have?
Councilwoman, great question. Churches are permitted in all zoning districts, so they will be not affected in any way by this downzoning.
Okay, thank you. That was my concern. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you, Council Lady. Councilman Carlisle, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. Just want to thank Administrator, did I get the right, Administrator Whitehead, for all of his work, and Director Zena for his work on helping us square this away. And just a general statement, no one's ever prevented, this is just to Councilwoman Logan's point, if somebody would like to come and do something that is not within the zoning, then they'll go through the proper procedures, which may end up at Land Use Control Board and then this body. So it's an extra opportunity for us to, I guess, listen to the public would probably be the best way to say that, but an extra kind of checklist, so to speak. So we're just not granting things by right all the time. So thank you anyway for the hard work. I really appreciate it. And colleagues, I hope you'll support this. With that, I yield back.
Thank you, Councilman Carlisle. Seeing no other members in the queue, is moved by Councilman Canale, seconded by Councilman Warren. Seeing nobody seeking recognition, assume you're ready to vote on item number 3. Madam Comptroller, call the roll.
Councilmember Canali,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Yes.
Easter Thomas,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
Aye.
Smiley,
Aye.
Vice Chairwoman Swearingen, Warren,
Aye.
Chairman Colette.
Aye, that item passes. Call item 22, please.
Item number 22 is a resolution to support a group violence intervention program. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Warren. It was held from January 26th.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Councilman Warren, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We discussed this in committee today and received a favorable recommendation. I so move, and after it's seconded, would like to call on Chief McGowan to comment on the particulars of the plan.
Second.
All right, moved by Councilman Warren, seconded by Councilman Canali. Chief McGowan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Councilman Carlisle, for bringing this forward, and thank you, Ms. Logan, for your comments this morning as well during committee. This, as you know, when we talked about it last week, it presented it to you is a compliment to the work, the great work of the Memphis Police Department. We know that law enforcement can't do it alone. A comprehensive approach to reducing violent crime is what we are proposing. We have put into place a structure of a team that wakes up every day to implement the processes that will change individual behaviors and change our collective norms. It will be done in a public health model through prevention, intervention, suppression, community mobilization, and organizational change. When we talked last time, I mentioned that this is a starting point. We have many partners at the table. We have other organizations who are ready to provide those wraparound services and to engage with the community. But we didn't want to say that we have everything baked because there is always room for people to participate. One thing I did want to mention is you'll recall in my presentation that we have partners. Mr. Jones asked, what kind of research have you done on this? And we think that we've done pretty exhaustive research to make sure that we have the very best practices here. We also have, through some national technical assistance partners, an array of people that we can call on. And I wanted to take a few minutes if I can, and I brought one of our partners to the table here today. One of those partners that has been made available to us for technical assistance is an organization called LISC, L-I-S-C. That is Local Initiative Support Corporation. They are basically a community development financial institution who does support for so many things, but they're also involved in this work. Kathy Cowan, who I'll introduce in just a second, is our local LISC representative. But she has two team members here who have been deeply involved in this exact kind of work in other cities. And I just wanted them to spend just a few minutes, if I could, describing the work that they have seen in other cities, and for them to attest to you that we are moving in a direction that they fully support. So Kathy, could I ask you to just introduce your teammates and maybe just have a few minutes of words from LISC on your observations about what we're proposing here in Memphis?
Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Kathy Cowan. Do I need to give an address or something?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yes, please.
2033 Emberary Cove, Memphis, Tennessee, 38119. Yes, I am with LISC. LISC is an organization, a community development financial institution that's been around since 1979. We are located in 36 cities, and Memphis is number 36, and I am the inaugural executive director for the organization. In that span of 40-some years, they've invested about $22 billion and leveraged that into $65 billion across these 36 markets. My colleagues, I hope, are here that we were all on earlier, and they are signing on, but we have we have various resources that I'm discovering, and it's just what the name says, Local Initiative Support Corporation. That's what LIST stands for. And so we deploy resources to help local initiatives. We have a health department, health and safety department. And I have two colleagues, Mona Mangat and LeVar Michael. And are you all on? Don't know if they're on now. But our health team is doing some work around the country with this comprehensive, holistic approach to reduction in crime. And then LeVar Michael, my colleague there, actually worked on the ground in Baltimore with the Baltimore City's Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice. And so he was doing that work in Baltimore on the ground, and LIST tapped him to work with us, and then, so we could expand that work nationwide. The office here has been opened up 4 months, exactly 4 months. And my expertise is not in this arena, but I have this national team, and I hope they're on. We had an estimate of what time to call in, and I just text them, but I don't think they've called in as of yet. But we are willing to deploy whatever resources we can to support this initiative. There are other things we're working on around housing and small business development and things of that nature. And we work collaboratively. So we will be engaging with existing partners. We don't come in and try to, like, here to save you. We try to work collaboratively with others. I've been in this market for 20 years working in community development as first 8 years as the first executive director for the Works Incorporated, 10 years with the Federal Reserve Bank, and the last 2 with Regions Bank. So I'm well vested in the community here, in community development, and certainly will be able to make connections to bring these national resources here to Memphis and engage where we need to engage. I do apologize. They were on and said that they would be willing to call back, and they had estimated about 4:30, so we're a little earlier. So my apologies.
This is Chief McGowan. I apologize. We're the ones that told you about 4:30.
Yeah.
We didn't know that the first council item would be moved. We were unaware of that. So, Chairman, we can do a couple of things. Whatever you'd prefer, we can move on with the order of the day and take a vote on this, and/or if you'd like to delay, we can, and have those representatives here. Nothing changes our proposal. Really, if you heard Mona and LeVar talk, I think you will get a sense that they fully support the idea that we're doing here, and they will be outstanding partners with us. So I defer to you, sir. It's my fault for telling them about 4:30. We're just a little earlier than we anticipated. They are from out of town, and so we asked them to dial in. So I defer to you, Mr. Chairman, on how you'd like to move forward with this.
Not a problem, Chief. I tell you that there's no objection. Let's just go to the next item, 23, colleagues, and we'll come back to 22 when these folks are good people are on. Fair enough? The objection?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Cowan. We'll come back to 22. Madam Comptroller, call item 23.
Number 23 is a resolution to amend the debt management policy. This resolution is sponsored by the administration.
Thank you very much. Councilman Morgan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The committee met, recommends approval, and I so move. And there is a request for same amount of minutes on this item.
Confirm, Matt. Second. Councilman Warren, did you second that? All right, I have a motion by Councilman Morgan, seconded by Councilman Warren. I see no members in the queue. I assume you're ready to vote on item 23. Madam Comptroller, moved by Morgan, seconded by Warren. Madam Comptroller, call the roll.
Councilmember Canali,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Yes.
Easter Thomas,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
Aye.
Smiley,
got my message, but.
Vice Chairwoman Swearingen? Warren?
Aye.
Chairman Colbert?
Aye, that item passes. Call item 24, please.
Item number 24 is a resolution approving Accelerate Memphis Invest in Neighborhoods, a plan to invest in community projects to activate neighborhoods, improve parks, and revitalize city assets. This resolution is sponsored by the administration.
Thank you very much. Councilman Morgan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Committee met, recommends approval, and I so move. And there's also a request for same night minutes on this item as well.
Second, Robinson.
Thank you very much. It's been moved by Councilman Morgan, seconded by Councilman Robinson. I see no members in the queue. I assume you're ready to vote on item number 24. Madam Comptroller, call the roll.
Councilmember Canali?
Yes.
Carlisle?
Yes.
Easter Thomas?
Yes.
Ford?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Jones?
Aye.
Logan?
Aye.
Morgan?
Yes.
Robinson?
Aye.
Smiley?
Aye.
Vice Chairwoman Swearingen? Warren?
Aye.
Chairman Colbert?
Aye. Shoot the moon. It passes. Comptroller, call item 25.
Item number 25 is a resolution requesting that the administration allocate $2,000 a year to the Memphis Light, Gas, and Water Voter Education Program to provide voter registration information to residential account holders. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Canali, Councilman Carlisle, Chairman Covett, Councilwoman Easter Thomas, Councilman Ford, Councilwoman Logan, Councilwoman Robinson, Councilman Smiley, and Councilman Warren. There is a request for same night minutes.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Councilman Morgan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Committee met, recommends approval, and I so move.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Councilman Morgan, seconded by Council Lady Robinson. Seeing no members of the queue, I assume you're ready to vote on item number 25. Madam Comptroller, call the roll.
Councilmember Canali,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Yes.
Easter Thomas,
Yes.
Ford, Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
Aye.
Smiley,
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Chairwoman Swearingen, Warren,
Aye.
Chairman Colbert.
Aye, that item passes. Madam Comptroller, call item 26.
Item number 26 is a resolution requesting the city of Memphis transfer its ownership right and interest in 36 parcels located in the Uptown TIF zone to the Community Redevelopment Agency revenue to be received $50 for 36 surplus parcels for a total of $1,800. Council District 7, Super District 8. This resolution is sponsored by General Services Division. There is a request for same night minutes.
Thank you. Councilman Smiley.
Mr. Chair, the committee may recommend approval and I so move.
Thank you.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Smiley, seconded by Councilman Carlisle. Seeing no members of the queue, I assume you're ready to vote on item 26. Madam Comptroller, call the roll.
Councilmember Canali,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Yes.
Easter Thomas,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
Aye.
Smiley,
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Chairwoman Swearingen, Warren,
Aye.
Chairman Colvett.
Aye, that item passes. Call item 27.
Item number 27 is a resolution to accept, allocate, and appropriate an additional $3,344,601 in grant funds from the Tennessee Department of Transportation for the Cobblestone Landing Project, project number GA01004. This resolution is sponsored by the Engineering Division and the administration. There is a request for same night minutes.
Thank you very much. Councilman Smiley.
Chairman, the committee may recommend approval, and I so move.
Second Johnson.
Been moved by Councilman Smiley, second by Council Lady Johnson. Seeing no members of the queue, I assume you're ready to vote on item 27. Madam Comptroller, call the roll.
Councilmember Canali,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Yes.
Easter Thomas,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
Aye.
Smiley,
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Chairwoman Swearingen, Warren,
Aye.
Chairman Colvett.
Aye, that item passes. Chief, are we ready to go back to item 22?
Yes, we are, Councilman. And with your permission, I'll make another introduction. So Kathy has already let you know what her role is here at LISC. I'd like to introduce Mona and LeVar, who are her counterparts on the national level and who have done this kind of comprehensive violence reduction work with other cities. And so I'll defer to Mona if you'd like to start, and then maybe you can hand it off to LeVar, and appreciate your perspective on the program as we have presented it to you. You're speaking with our city council and letting them know your perspective on things and how you might be able to support our work here. Mona, you're on mute still.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Okay, thank you so much for inviting us tonight. Pleasure to talk with you both, and my colleague LeVar Michael is on the call as well. So I'm the Vice President of Safety and Justice at LISC National based in New York. And the goal of our team is to support crime reduction and safety and justice reform efforts around the country. We work really closely with the Department of Justice, both Bureau of Justice Assistance and the Office of Juvenile Justice Delinquency Prevention, and serve as a national training and technical assistance provider to cities across the country. And we work very closely with our local colleagues, in this case, Kathy, and we focus mostly on our approach to crime reduction is really focused on the role of place and trying to be very comprehensive around safety and justice efforts to make sure that it is not just people focused, but really place focused and really leveraging the community development and revitalization resources that our colleagues locally are partnering on with various city and municipal governments. We're really encouraged to hear about the great GBI program that you are considering in Memphis, and our kind of call with Mr. McGowan and team this week was really around how can we share best practices of what we've learned from other cities, the lessons learned, and provide that kind of peer network to you all in Memphis to make sure that we can make connections both with our law enforcement partners and our community-based organizations that have been leading this work. I also want to make sure I introduce LeVar Michael, who is a senior program officer on our team, and prior to joining us, was really involved in the city of Baltimore through his role at the mayor's office of criminal justice. So let me pause there, and LeVar, you can jump in.
Yeah, thanks, Mona. Yeah, so just to give a brief statement about, after we met with Doug and his team and took a closer look at what your city and the thought leaders there were able to put together. As Mona mentioned, I spent several years in the Baltimore Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice. I served as the violence reduction manager for the city of Baltimore. The city of Baltimore underwent 3 different iterations of the group violence interruption. And we also have a program, Safe Streets, which is Gary Slutskin's Cure Violence model. So the same type of initiative you folks are attempting to embark on with this investment today that you'll be voting on. It's sort of the same thing that the city of Baltimore tried numerous times. And one of the things that I was happy with in meeting with Doug and his team and learning a little bit more about the models that you want to implement, I was extremely impressed with the time and diligence that the folks took to really put these pieces together. One of the things that we noticed through the work that we do and working with jurisdictions throughout the country in providing training and technical assistance around different models, including group violence intervention and cure violence, we find that folks tend to cherry pick which type of components of each model they want to implement. And because of that, you can sometimes end up with something that works extremely well. And in other circumstances, you can end up with stuff that doesn't work so well. But I was really impressed in seeing what you folks put together, that the components that you put together, those evidence-based strategies, are typically the components that we see through the work that we do. Those are the components that tend to work extremely well, right? When you're implementing Cure Violence and David Kennedy's group violence intervention project. So again, I just want to reiterate one of the things I was going to mention earlier. In working in Baltimore, one of the mistakes that we made, and as I mentioned, we went through 3 different iterations of this. The first one, the city just focused on doing call-ins, which wasn't extremely effective. The second iteration, which I was involved in, there was a lack of investment from the city, right? They tried to sort of do it on the cheap, and we knew that that wasn't going to be extremely effective, but we tried it and it didn't work. So this third iteration, we here at LISC were able to work very closely with the city of Baltimore, provide advice and guidance based on my experience there, making sure that they built in those components that we know can be effective: street outreach, enhanced service delivery, investment in manpower and staffing. So again, this is something that I've seen just taking a look at what you folks put together. And it looks like you're on a path to have a very successful rollout of your program. So as I mentioned to you yesterday, Doug, kudos to you and your staff for putting this together. And from our end here at LISC, we look forward to working with you guys moving forward.
Thank you so much, Mona and LeVar and Kathy. Just for the council's perspective, this is one of the technical service providers that we're excited to work with. As I mentioned, there are other areas and other technical service providers who are also willing and committed to working with us. I just wanted you to hear from LISC, who has recent experience on the ground, that we are directionally appropriate. And sometimes I know that's often, you wonder, how did you bring this together? And is there any outside expertise that could validate what you're doing? I heard very deeply some of the comments that Councilwoman Logan had about the involvement of the community, and I wanted to make sure that she was assured that that is an indelible part of the program that we're putting together here. So we are very excited about this. Just in broad strokes, again, we're putting together a staff of about 4 people, an annual operating budget that we will propose. Again, your resolution today is asking me to bring a detailed budget, but in broad strokes, an investment of about $2 million a year in programming and people, so that we wake up every day focused on delivering this kind of a comprehensive model. I do hope that by the next time we talk, when we bring the budgets back, that I can mention to you some of these other community partners who are willing to announce their partnership with us for those wraparound services. But I think you'll be pleased and excited. And so with that, I would encourage you to vote for the resolution that asks me to bring you back a detailed budget so that we can execute this program, which is what we're asking for today and supporting this approach to violence reduction.
Thank you, Chief. Councilman Warren, you're recognized.
I just want to again thank the mayor and thank Doug McGowan and for everybody on this council's contribution to getting to this point. One of the things when you read that book, you realized it takes about a year to get this up, and we've had to work on this through COVID. And I appreciate everyone's contributions and help, and particularly Doug McGowan, who's done the lion's share of putting all this together for us. I'm confident that if we proceed with this, we'll be saving lives, and I urge my colleagues to please vote for this. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Councilman. No members in the queue, but real quick, Mona, can I get your home address for the record, please?
Sorry about that. 46 Glades Way, Hale Site, New York, 11743.
Thank you. LeVar, can I have your home address, please?
Sure. 2115 Southern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21214.
Outstanding. Thank you. Seeing no members in the queue, this was moved by Councilman Warren, seconded by Councilman Canale. This is item number 22. Madam Comptroller, please call the roll.
Councilmember Canale,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Aye.
Easter Thomas,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
Aye.
Smiley,
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Swearingen, Warren,
Aye.
Chairman Corbett.
Aye. That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call our consent agenda.
Number 4 is an ordinance of the City of Memphis Code of Ordinances to amend Chapter 5, Animals and File, to create Article 5 to restrict the retail sale of dogs and cats at pet stores. Up for first reading, ordinance number 5777 is sponsored by Councilman Morgan, Councilman Warren, and the administration. Item number 5 is an ordinance to amend City of Memphis Code of Ordinances, Chapter 33, Division 4, to modify Section 33-62 related to the sewer development fee. Up for first reading, ordinance number 5778 is sponsored by the Public Works Division. Item number 6 is an ordinance to amend City of Memphis Code of Ordinances, Chapter 33, Division 4, to modify Section 33-65 related to sewer extension fee. Up for first reading, ordinance number 5779 is sponsored by the Public Works Division. And item number 7 is up for second reading. This ordinance is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development, and the case number is 20-11. Chairman Corbett, that concludes our consent agenda items.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Move it. Second, Carlisle.
All right, it's moved by Councilman Morgan, seconded by Councilman Carlisle. Seeing no members in the queue, I assume you're ready to vote on the consent agenda. Madam Comptroller, call the roll.
Councilmember Canale,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Aye.
Easter Thomas,
Yes.
Ford, Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
Aye.
Smiley,
Aye.
Vice Chairwoman Swearingen, Warren,
Aye.
Chairman Corbett.
Aye, that item passes.
Ford, yes. Ford, yes.
Ford, yes. Thank you, Chairman. Councilmember Ford.
Councilmember Ford is a yes. That item passes. Thank you. Madam Comptroller, please call the MLG&W fiscal consent agenda.
That would take us to item number 8, a resolution approving change number 1 to contract number 12254 with Venture Forth Inc. in the funded amount of $142,390. Item number 9, a resolution awarding contract number 12163, electric distribution, construction and maintenance to Davis H. Elliott Construction Company, Inc. in the funded amount not to exceed $55,254,992. Item number 10, resolution approving the payment of an invoice for the 2021 annual membership dues plus locate request tickets from Tennessee One Call System in the amount of $130,589.80. Item number 11 is a resolution approving change number 1 to contract number 11927, voice and data services with AT&T in the funded amount of $636,000. Item number 12 is a resolution awarding a purchase order to Engineered Ceiling Components, LLC, for fiber optic 19280 SS cable in the amount of $104,976. And item number 13 is a resolution approving change number 3 to contract number 11560, professional design services for fabrication and repair shop design with the Crump Firm Incorporated in the funded amount not to exceed $499,650 based on agreed upon rates. Mr. Chairman, that concludes our MLGW fiscal consent items.
Thank you. Councillady Robinson, you're recognized.
So moved.
Second. Can I get a second?
Second.
Morgan seconds.
All right, it's been moved by Councillady Robinson, second by Councilman Morgan. Seeing no members of the queue, assume you're ready to vote on the MLG&W fiscal consent agenda. Madam Comptroller, call the roll.
Chair, I was in the queue.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, Councilman Carlisle, you're recognized.
Thank you. I just wanted to look at item number 9, just real quick. I know this is on the consent agenda, but $55 million is a big slug. I'm hoping that this is a joyous moment, just seeing that it's electrical distribution towards improving our infrastructure for our customers and the long-awaited debate that we went through last year, that this is one step in that direction. I figured MLGW would like the platform. Mr. Young, I see you on there as chair. Would you mind if Mr. Young, a few brief remarks?
President Young, you're
Thank you.
recognized.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair and Councilman Carlisle. Absolutely, this is us, again, if you'll recall last year when we brought our service improvement plan from our board to you all, and you all approved this. This, of course, is a part of it. And you're right, Councilman Carlisle, this is a pretty significant piece of what we are trying to get done. It contains the overhead activities with our overhead facilities. There's more to come. I will give you that heads up. There are more infrastructure improvement items that we'll be bringing. This is something that we actually worked in a great manner. Our IBW partners worked with us to reach an agreement to actually help make sure that we had the proper resources between our employees and expanding their opportunity for to work on these projects, as well as bringing in contractors to help us meet the deadline, the time frame that we have established and committed to do. So this is all part of that, and it's a pretty significant deal.
Thank you, Mr. Young, or President Young. Joyous moment indeed, a big step in the right direction. I just wanted to note that for the public. As MLG said, your power company working for you, right, with the city council. So thank you for that, and Chair, I yield back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman Carlisle. And again, I apologize for going a little fast. Councilman Jones, you're recognized.
Thank you. Mr. Young, I would just ask that as we take on some of these huge construction projects, I know that your board has properly vetted these items, but if you could include for our informational purposes what MWBE participation is, particularly when we talk about large expenditures such as this, that would be helpful.
Absolutely. Those will be included. And for the record, let me just acknowledge for this particular contract, it's not included in your packet, I don't believe, but we'll do that in the future. We actually solicited on the front end, Memphis Area Minority Contractors, Black Business Association, Mid-South Minority Business Continuum, Tennessee Small Business Development Center, Tri-State Minority Supplier Development Council, and WBEC South in the procurement process. So we are very aware of the importance of that, and certainly will include that information going forward for your review.
Well, with that being the case, would you happen to have a ballpark number for this particular project?
Number of what? I'm sorry.
MW participation.
Actually, there were none that responded. We solicited 16, including the names that I just mentioned to you. Those were the minority contract or entities that have access to those entities. We actually solicited them as well, in addition to other companies, to make sure that we covered the landscape. And there were none that responded. In fact, not any that I'm aware of, that the scope of this work that they were capable of doing. And that may be why we didn't get any to respond.
Okay.
But we did make the attempt. We did make the attempt.
So this company here, Davis Elliott, will be doing it from the whole kit and caboodle, no opportunities for subcontracting? Is that what you're saying here?
Well, for right now, this particular, again, it's a 5-year project. And so there will be other projects. There's underground projects coming. There are many other projects that will be coming. We're going to do what we can to make sure we cast the wide net. So just be aware of that. And as we move forward, we're going to be very intentional about making sure that we are very inclusive in those who get opportunities to participate. Our policies actually encourage that. So I would ask you to stay tuned. On this particular one, the scope and the work associated with it, I believe they will be doing their part. But you got to remember, we've actually hired some additional individuals in MLGW to help offset this. We've got, of course, and we'll be expanding the use of our existing labor force to help with this. It's a pretty big deal.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Councilman Jones. I see no other members in the queue or seeking recognition. Cool. I assume you're ready to vote on the MLG&W fiscal consent agenda. Madam Comptroller, call the roll.
Councilmember Canali,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Aye.
Easter Thomas,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
Aye.
Smiley, Swearingen, Warren,
Aye.
Chairman Covet.
Aye, that item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item 19.
Item number 19 is a resolution requesting approval of the sale of a city-owned parcel known as 1418 Willie Mitchell Boulevard, parcel ID number 025-061-00033, Memphis, Tennessee 38106, in the amount of $2,500. This resolution is sponsored by General Services Division.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Councilman Smiley, you're recognized.
Mr. Chair, the committee met recommended approval and I so move. Second.
All right, it's moved by Councilman Smiley, seconded by Councilman Canali. Seeing no members in the queue, assume you're ready to vote on item number 19. Madam Comptroller, call the roll.
Councilmember Canali,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Aye.
Easter Thomas, Ford,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
Aye.
Smiley, Vice Chairwoman Swearingen. Warren,
Aye.
Chairman Covet.
Aye. That item passes. Call item number 20, please.
Item number 20 is a resolution to amend Housing and Community Development federal budget by appropriating the expenditures and revenues for the 2020 through 2021 Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program Weatherization Grant in the total amount of $669,384.44 for the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program Weatherization. This resolution is sponsored by Housing and Community Development.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Councilwoman Johnson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item was heard in committee and received a favorable recommendation. Therefore, I so move.
Second.
Been moved by Councilwoman Johnson, seconded by Councilman Canali. Seeing no members in the queue, I assume you're ready to vote on item 20. Madam Comptroller, call the roll.
Councilmember Canali,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Aye.
Easter Thomas,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
Aye.
Smiley, Vice Chairwoman Swearingen, Warren,
Aye.
Chairman Covet.
Aye. That item passes. Let's call item 21.
Item number 21 is a resolution to transfer and appropriate construction funds in the amount of $1,332,320 for CIP project number SW 20203 to replace an existing sludge line at the TE Maxon WWTS. This resolution is sponsored by the Public Works Division.
Thank you. Councilman Smiley, you're recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the committee met recommended approval and I so move.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Councilman Smiley, seconded by Councilman Carlisle. Seeing no members in the queue, I assume you're ready to vote on item number 21. Madam Comptroller, call the roll.
Councilmember Canali,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Aye.
Easter Thomas,
Yes.
Ford,
Aye.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
Aye.
Smiley,
Aye.
Vice Chairwoman Swearingen, Warren,
Aye.
Chairman Covet.
Aye, that item passes. Unless I am mistaken, that takes us to the end of the meeting or the last items, which is same night minutes, which I believe are items 23 through 27. Councilman Smiley, you're recognized.
Yes, the same night minutes are 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. I so move.
Second, Carlisle.
Been moved by Councilman Smiley, seconded by Councilman Carlisle. Seeing no members in the queue, I assume you're ready to vote on same night minutes. Madam Comptroller, call the roll.
Councilmember Canali,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Aye.
Easter Thomas,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
Robinson,
Aye.
Smiley,
Aye.
Vice Chairwoman Swearingen, Warren,
Aye.
Chairman Covet.
Aye, that item passes. Madam Comptroller, Thank you for your professionalism. It is inspiring, ma'am. Pass it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. We've got a new one today. I see Councilman Carlisle's eagerly anticipating the debut, no less. Councilman Smiley, he is prepped, he is stretched, he is ready. The voice of the council, sir. You are recognized for the letters to the council.
All right, we have one public comment today from none other than Joe B. Kent, 5111 Flamingo Road. All right. During these COVID restrictions, I would like the public and council to know that I am taking great efforts to shield the council's public comment reader of ownership of my public comments while attempting to communicate with strategic pauses and personal contact with the council audience. That is why I would like the public and council to know that the council public comment reader will hold up a picture of me in strategic pauses. Here are some recommended questions I would suggest the council ask Reed Goldberger regarding EDGE. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being a taxpayer gut punch and 10 being a taxpayer windfall, rate both of Cushman and Wakefield's low-range pilot applications for Mark Anthony and the same logistics, 1 through 10. Hold up my, I'm supposed to be holding up a picture of him and pause for 2 seconds. 2, Mr. Goldberger, is there any part of your EDGE fee structure at all that you can cite that sits EDGE to represent the taxpayer over corporate real estate interests? Pretend I'm holding up a picture. 3, Mr. Goldberger, why is that when I read the EDGE scorecard that I feel as if I am reading information produced by Bernie Madoff and company? Pretend I'm holding up a picture. 4, Mr. Goldberger, does EDGE plan to close down GMAC with them owing taxpayers nearly $750,000? If not, when will GMAC retire the liability payable to the EDGE and the taxpayer? 5, Mr. Goldberger, excluding depreciation in the opening effectively at break even, what are EDGE's plans for $22 million in cash on the EDGE consolidated balance sheet? Pretend I'm holding up a picture. This concludes our public comments.
Mute, Frank.
You're
Mr.
muted,
Chair,
Corbett. You're muted. We can't hear you.
Terry, you're muted.
I'm sorry, I was so floored by the professionalism. Well done, good sir. That concludes the public comment cards. I'll entertain a motion to recess the meeting.
Chair. Sorry,
Sir.
real quick. I see Chief McGowan on. I don't know if the mayor's around, but I thought if you wouldn't mind just to all of us take a moment today and recognize that we did something pretty incredible in Accelerate Memphis. And I know Chief McGowan's on here, and it's a pretty big deal. And I just appreciate everybody and the patience over the last couple of weeks to work through it and make that decision for the neighborhoods and for the city. It's going to be something I think we'll all look back on, and our kids will look back on as a defining moment in the history of the city. So anyway, I just want to thank Chief McGowan, the mayor, Chief Ford, and the council. Pretty tremendous moment. So
Councilman Carlisle, I thought the big moment was we got out before 5, but I agree with you.
54 seconds.
In our 20 seconds, I want to echo Councilman Carlisle's thoughts. Chief, well done, sir. The team has put together a great project and the mayor. I'm looking forward to a very, very bright future. Well done. Well done to you and your team.
Thank you, Chairman. And just to all the council persons, just one comment. This is a team effort. And I know that confidence is high in the city because of the deliberate and affirmative inquiry that you all made. You all have picked this thing apart from stem to stern. You asked us hard questions about not just the projects, but the financing, and have secured our opportunity in the future. We have not mortgaged our future away. We can take this opportunity to invest in Memphis today. So thank you all for your partnership, for helping to inform these projects, to make sure that it's about investing in our neighborhoods and that we get the finances right. We couldn't do it without you all. The leadership of the mayor and these 13 council members, we appreciate you.
Shoot the moon, team. Shoot the moon.
Chair, I move to recess.
Got a motion to recess. Second. Moved properly seconded by Warren. Motion by Carl, seconded by Warren. We stand in recess. Thank you.
Thank you,
Congrats
guys.
on the unanimous meeting.
Well done,
Congrats,
guys.
Doug.
Good night, everybody.